Good evening. This is a special council meeting, April 29th, 2025, 6 p.m. Call to order. This special meeting was called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. Notices of this meeting were sent to the Courier Post and the Sentinel of Gloucester County on April 24th, 2025. In addition, copies of notices were posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, the township's website, and filed with the office of the municipal clerk on their aforementioned date. Notices of the bulletin board and website have remained continuously posted. Please note that the clerk has placed a sign-in sheet at the rear of the courtroom. If anyone would like to address council during the public portion, please sign in, raise your hand, and I will ask you to come forward to the microphone. Kindly state your name and address for the record. In addition, please note that this meeting is currently being live streaming on the Township's YouTube channel in accordance with Ordinance 56-2024, and a link for the copy of this recording will also be posted on the Township's website for public view at their convenience. Please rise for the salute to the flag and remain standing for the invocation led by Councilwoman Fox.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we gather here today as the leadership of Monroe Township, we pray that we are ever mindful of the responsibility we have to render service to our fellow citizens and to our community. Keeping in mind always the enduring values of life, exerting our efforts in those areas and on those things upon which future generations can build with confidence. Let us strive to continue to make Monroe Township a successful community and lead with truthfulness, trust, and good character for the residents of Monroe Township. Amen.
Roll call.
Council Vice President Mrs. Adams is excused. Mr. Cope?
Here.
Mrs. Fox? Here. Council President Mr. Heverly?
Here.
Mr. O'Reilly is excused. Mr. Rossi?
Here.
Mr. Valentine?
Here.
Mayor Wolf?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Kurz is excused. Solicitor Mrs. Grace?
Here.
Business Administrator Mr. Dehart?
Here.
And all of the directors, the CFO, and Police Chief is excused from this special meeting. And Municipal Clerk Aline Chiselko is present.
Moving on to ordinances. Ordinance 13-2025, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Monroe to amend Chapter 262 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing, first reading and public hearing. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Ayes have it. Ordinance 14-2025, an ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Monroe to amend Chapter 74 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Fees. First reading and public hearing. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I apologize, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make one comment on, I guess, 13, the towing. I just noticed, if you go to page 17, section B, I guess it would start in line 2. It states, if only one tower is licensed on the heavy-duty tow list, that tower shall remain continuously on call, and it goes on to say for heavy tows. Should we add that to the standard list as well? That same verbiage? Because I think the standard duty tow list on page 7, it talks about a list of licensed towing operators. Should we add that same language in there, if only one tower is licensed, that the tower shall remain continuously on call? Do we need that in there or no?
I think it's given for the standard tow list, but we can make that minor revision.
Okay.
That's been the status quo from my understanding, so I don't think it's a major revision to make prior to second reading.
Yeah, I'm just saying to stay consistent with,
Sure.
with both. That would be the only thing. And we're going to have a public portion on this, right? Okay.
Moving on to public portion now.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to open the public portion?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone wishing to speak this evening? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close public portion?
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Secondly,
Opposed?
if I could just make some comments on that. I did speak with a couple of the businesses today that I was able to connect with, and I just want to express some of the concerns on their area. You know, one of the local businesses, their concern is that everybody should be treated equally and everybody should have the same exact equipment, you know, to be on the towing list, whether it's one list or two list. So that's a concern, you know, somebody who invests in their company and does a fantastic job, you know, with that should, you know, be entitled to the same as somebody who's not investing in the company as far as, I bought a heavy tow truck, and everybody else should have a heavy tow truck as well, because if not, I may not be able to make mine available, which we had discussed in the previous meeting, you know, for that, and the, we'll call it supplemental income by being the only tower on call, makes up for some of that heavy-duty equipment that was purchased. And I get that. The question becomes, does it knock out other businesses within our community to prevent them from bidding on this? So, and I just wanted to express that. Another company I spoke with who does not have a heavy tow truck, they indicated they are fine with the dual list, and they have no intentions on purchasing a heavy-duty truck. So, in essence, the one company that has that heavy-duty truck would probably solely the only person doing the heavy-duty towing. But I don't know if that's enough for that company, but I want to express both views of that, because I know there are two sides to this, and either way we go, somebody's not going to be happy. So, but I did want to just speak on that I did speak to some of the owners. And I'm sure during the public hearing at the next council meeting, maybe we'll hear from some of that. But just wanted to put that on the record. Thank
Say
you.
something? When we don't have a heavy tow, if we have an accident with a heavy tow and the heavy tow, we can't get it to come out, we have to call maybe Vineland. And that puts our officers at risk, that puts the community at risk, because you're talking about another hour for a heavy tow truck to get here. See, this is the problem I'm having with this. We're putting our officers and the community at risk.
But
I just don't,
I
I don't
don't,
see it.
I don't know that we are, because we are creating a heavy list here. So if we have an in-town towing company that wants to be on that heavy list, they're on it, they got it. So that we wouldn't be going outside of town. If nobody signs up for it, then the police department will be forced to go outside of town, and we don't want to do that. We want to take care of our own businesses within our community. We're giving them the option to put in for the heavy list, and if there's only one, they would get all that business. But we all know from what the deputy chief had spoken on that it happens a couple times a month.
Right, and that's my thing, that they're not gonna be able to sustain themselves just with being on that heavy list. One guy, you know, you had 24 hours a day, somebody on call, and that truck's sitting there. I think it's gonna be a burden on the company. That's all I had to say.
Basically what they're doing now, though, aren't they?
No, we have actually.
We have one towing now.
Yes.
And what, if there's one in the future, there'll be one on the list, so it is what it is now.
Well, no, but they're
from my
getting,
understanding.
but they're getting all tows now, correct? That's what's making
No,
the.
no, I
So right now,
understand
it's
that.
saying they're
Also, I
getting
can
all
never
of
put
this.
out.
To the heavy tow lift.
Can we hear from Jack, from Ajax? I want to hear.
Public
public
portion
is
has
closed.
has
Closed?
ended.
I wanted to hear his thoughts on this, because I know it's a big bill to cover with these trucks that was bought. So now you're limiting him on the rotation where he'll be paying somebody. Let's say there's no heavy tow for 2 months. Let's just say that happens. He's still covering the employees to be on payroll 24 hours a day for call.
So what these proposed ordinance revisions do is they keep the standard tow list and they create a heavy-duty tow list. It's up to the tower's discretion whether they would like to apply to be on the heavy-duty tow list. They are not obligated to apply to be on the heavy-duty tow list. And the ordinance revisions are clear in that in case there is only one tower with this heavy-duty wrecker, they're going to have to be essentially on call at all times with that heavy-duty record. That is clear in the ordinance, and it's not an obligation or a barrier to entry to be on the standard tow list. So respectfully, if a tower does not wish to apply to be on the heavy-duty tow list, there's nothing obligating them to be on that heavy-duty tow list.
Okay.
If that happens, we just go to a rotation, like first company we call that's available, they come out, if we don't have anybody on the list?
If there's nobody on the heavy-duty tow list, the ordinance actually states on page 17, A and B, if there's no township-approved heavy-duty tower, then the police department has the discretion to call whoever they deem fit to pick up, and then deem wherever storage location as well for those.
So the heavy tow that's going to come in town, are they going to be vetted?
Excuse me?
Will they be vetted too, the heavy-duty tow company? If we have to call somebody out of town
Okay.
to come in, shouldn't they be vetted the same way?
We have no jurisdiction to have them apply to be a tower on our list.
Basically, that's gonna be up to the police department to
So-
know, like, for example, and we kind of discussed this, the business administrator and I. Let's say they call somebody from out of town and they're not vetted, right? And that's a concern. The police department's gonna have to do their homework if they're gonna utilize somebody. For example, if they have a criminal case where the vehicle's being towed back to an unfamiliar building, they're gonna have to make sure that the chain of custody of, is it under surveillance, is it protected, and all that.
Right.
And the police department's, that's gonna be their decision because it's their criminal investigation. It's not the townships, it's the police department. And they're gonna have to do that, so, look, I get it from both sides, right? I understand that you have equipment that's gotta be paid for, and the being on call every week helps offset that cost, right? I get that. And that's the decision that has to be made. Is that enough to tell other businesses, you don't have this, you can't bid on it? So, can I ask this? I know we closed the public portion, but Jack or Tim, do either of you want to speak on that, or do you want to?
I mean, everything worked fine this year, and I'm not looking to be, I think everybody should be on the same plane.
I'm sorry, do you mind just coming up, please? Eileen, do we have a microphone?
I mean, is council's all right with? opening
Yeah,
the
we
public
can,
portion?
of course, no, let's talk about it, sure, absolutely. Nah.
And if you could just please state your name
Yeah,
and address.
state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you.
Jack Zimmerman, Ajax Toner Recovery. I mean, everything went smooth this year. I think this was probably the best 2 years that you guys ever had. The towing issue has been a problem for many years. I mean, the chief could tell you, or the mayor could tell you, BA could tell you. They've been around for a long time. The first ordinance 2 weeks ago looked pretty good, and then you guys changed it up again a few days ago, and then I guess today you changed it up some more. Ball's in your court. You got a good towing company that can handle everything, state-of-the-art facility, whether the prosecutor's office, you talk to them, the police department, the detective bureau, everybody will tell you hands down, we have the best facility. And it's not like the big boys trying to kick the little guys down, but I put money back into my business. I got some of the best of the guys out there. My equipment's second to none. I buy the best equipment money can buy. And when we go out, we get the job done, okay? It's a public safety issue. I need to get my guys in and off the highway, and you guys need to get your police officers off the highway. I don't know if you guys know, there's an average of every 6 days we lose a tow truck operator because they get hit on the side of the road, okay? Major safety issue, get these roads open. We all know secondary accidents are usually worse than the first primary accident. You guys have that written in ordinance. This isn't T-ball here, guys. This is the major leagues. Everybody doesn't get a trophy.
So let me ask you a question, though, because I think if I heard right, and I know I'm newer on council here, what we as town and council have to worry about are lawsuits, right? So if we turn around and stick with what's going on and don't give the fair shake here and the other people on the list, well, then we have to worry about litigation. and we have to worry about being sued.
And I understand, but,
I think you do, because I think we've dealt with that with you, correct?
yeah, but mine
Okay.
is a whole different story also.
But, I mean, so we can't just stick with what's working right
I
now.
understand. So is it cheaper to fight a towing company, or do we have a heavy tower that's 10 minutes from a major accident scene and there's a box truck laying on top of, God forbid, somebody's family, and we got to get that thing up? First hour is the most crucial. Are we going to wait for somebody to come an hour away?
Well,
Blood's going to be on your hands.
well,
boss.
well, with these new ordinance revisions, if somebody does apply to be on the duty
What was this? I'm
list.
sorry.
I'm saying if, with these new ordinance revisions, if somebody from inside the township wants to apply to be on the heavy-duty list, then we won't have to wait.
I know, and I'm the only guy with the heavy trucks. And I'm not trying to
For now.
strong arm anybody, and please don't, I don't
No
want you to
worries.
think I'm trying to strong arm you.
No worries. I'm just
Heavy
saying,
wreckers are very expensive, okay? It's like buying fire trucks, okay?
which is precisely why we can't put them as a barrier to entry in this ordinance.
What was this? I'm sorry.
Which is precisely why we can't put them as a barrier to entry in this ordinance.
Why not? Because there's plenty of other townships that do allow that.
That's my legal recommendation.
Okay, that's fine. All I'm saying is you have a good company now, everything works flawlessly.
And
And
you are more than
whatever
welcome to
event we all
continue applying to be a tower in this township. I don't think there's anything in this ordinance that precludes you from doing so.
No, but the thing is, being a heavy tower, now you want me on 365 and hoping that you guys are gonna need me, where, like this gentleman here said, you know, we can offset that number with us running every week of that heavy wrecker. So if that heavy wrecker's not working for you this week, the light duties are still bringing money in to offset the cost of that heavy wrecker.
Okay.
You know,
Again,
if every
it's-
once, every second week, every third week,
And-
well, that truck may not be available every day at your beck and call because of it needing to go out and make money.
And respectfully, and I understand it's a business decision, it's
Right.
something you have to consider.
Yes.
Respectfully, there's no obligation to apply to be on the heavy-duty list. Should you not want to have that truck be on call, should you be the only heavy-duty
Correct.
trucker?
Yes.
Or tower on the list, right? So, you know, from township's perspective, this is the best way to go about this ordinance. Again, I think, you know, and again, it's your complete prerogative to make any business decisions or determinations as you deem fit, given the new ordinance.
Okay. No problem. Anybody have any other questions?
You do tow for the township now, right?
Yeah.
You do all the township vehicles? I cannot find any invoices that we paid. Why is that?
Since the new contract, I felt it was only right to give back to the township, and I have not charged the township for any tows that I've done for them, whether it was light, medium, or heavy. And also, we do quite a bit of alignments on police cars, ambulance, for the township, and you guys don't get charged for that either. So I don't want everybody to think it's all about me and my company. I give back as much as I can. Whenever there's a question, Fire Prevention Week, we always make sure there's a car at Walmart. We drop it off. We bring 2 flatbeds there so the kids can look at the flatbeds because kids like trucks. And when it's done, we clean up the mess, sweep it all up, take it home, dispose of the vehicle. When fire and rescue need cars for training, we just took 2 over to the township yard last week for them. They'll have them for a few weeks. We'll go pick them back up. The range for the shooting down on Piney Hollow Road, we take cars down there. All this stuff's no charge, you know, so this is all,
We thank you for that.
but I appreciate it, but, you know,
We
this
missed you
is
in the
stuff
parade
that
this
I want
year.
everybody to know, like, it's not all about us.
We missed you in the parade this year.
Well, if it goes back to a rotation and we're off that week, we'll see if we can make it. Give you something to talk about.
Council, have any other questions?
No, we thank you for that, Jack.
They're
Seriously,
welcome.
thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Jack.
Seeing nothing else? Do I have to close? public
Sorry, can we
portion?
just go back, because I think the mayor suggested a minor revision to the standard tow list, just to indicate the same language as it was in the heavy tow list, that
Correct.
if there's only one tower on the standard list, that they're also expected to be there.
Correct.
on call 24/7. So can we just re-vote on the ordinance just based on that minor revision, please?
Sure. We're going to revote for ordinance 13-2025, ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Monroe to amend Chapter 262 on the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing with the recommended changes recommended by our solicitor. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Ayes have it. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
Second reading at the next.
At least I know now why I couldn't find out if it is.
Yeah, if there's